With that level 8 weather condition warning for KwaZulu-Natal, we now speak to Senzo Mzila, who is the KwaZulu-Natal Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs spokesperson, speaking on behalf of COGTA as well as the efforts of disaster management in the province. Senzo, good evening. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. The system, as we just reported in the weather update, has already begun to affect KwaZulu-Natal, but it's expected to get worse between Monday and Wednesday, as our meteorologist in Port just reported there. A level 8 warning, particularly affecting the coastal line, low-lying areas, bringing in moisture from the ocean, dropping it into KwaZulu-Natal and leading to possible flooding affecting predominantly informal settlements. What is the expectation and planned intervention on part of COGTA and disaster management in the province?
Good afternoon to you, Oliver. Good afternoon to your viewers at home. Yes, disaster management teams have been placed on high alert across the province of KZN by the MEC for COGTA. This follows the weather warning from the Weather Service. Part of the interventions also do include a meeting that was held this morning by the Provincial Disaster Management Center, whereby a number of stakeholders came together to ensure that disaster plans are ready. Here we're talking about stakeholders such as SANRAL, line function departments, disaster management centers across the province. All of these stakeholders are crucial to ensuring that residents are first and foremost informed about the dangers that we are facing, and also that plans are in place to ensure that the province is able to respond swiftly should any need arise.
Yeah, you mentioned that SANRAL was part of that multilateral engagement of different stakeholders this morning. Does that mean that there's a consideration to close certain traffic routes in the province for the safeguard of residents?
Well, the job that took place this morning, the aim of it was to ensure that all stakeholders are able to present to the Provincial Disaster Management Center all their plans should tomorrow's weather conditions deteriorate. There are a number of options that will always be on the stakeholders' plans, but for now we can safely say that all of our stakeholders have assured us that their plans are ready and they are willing to deal with any eventuality should tomorrow's weather conditions deteriorate.
As I'm speaking to you right now, are there any planned evacuations, particularly of people living in low-lying areas as well as informal settlements that are at high risk here?
From the feedback that we received from all of our district disaster management centers, there are a number of areas that are prone, specifically areas that have got, areas that are in low-lying. So communities have been urged in those areas to seek higher ground should the situation deteriorate. A number of interventions have been made also whereby the community halls and public facilities have been opened, and we are ensuring that councillors are aware, and should the need arise, these facilities will be used to evacuate and ensure that residents are safe.
Are there any disaster instruments, disaster relief instruments made available that in past we have learned were necessary, such as helicopters for emergency evacuations, as well as earth-moving vehicles and earth-moving equipment to open up pathways and roadways that may have been filled with debris from collapsed infrastructure?
Yes, the risk that we face as a province tomorrow is one where there could be a lot of flooding, there could be a lot of disruption on our roads. So this morning's meeting that was convened by the PDMC ensured that all line function departments, specifically here we're referring to the Department of Transport, the Department of Economic Development, Social Development, all line function departments, including social partners, are on board to ensure that we swiftly deal with this situation. Now, there's a number of municipalities as well that we are working closely with to ensure that should there be roads that are flooded, interventions are made speedily and swiftly, protecting human lives.
Yeah. And just importantly here is the question around medical care and medical attention, specifically when we talk about here paramedics being able to access people who may have been hurt or damaged in whatever floods, God willingly none get damaged and no fatalities being reported. But what is the report from the Department of Health on their readiness in the province?
Well, all departments, we can safely say, have indicated that on their side, they are ready to deal with any eventuality. We also were privileged as well to be joined by a number of stakeholders during this morning's meeting, who also assured us that the province is ready to deal with any eventuality. But I think the important thing here as well, Oliver, is to assure residents across the province that this weather condition that we're expecting does pose a risk to human life, and all necessary precautions must be made by residents. I think the important important thing is that those who are going to be traveling on our roads, they must ensure that they have got the latest information pertaining
Just to that, Senzo, is there an emergency contact line that anyone who finds themselves stranded or needs emergency services in this over the next 3 days can contact? Do you have a number or a contact link that you can leave us with?
Yes, as a province, we've got disaster management centers across the province, across all districts. These centers have got a contact number for each and every one of them. These are shared on the department's social media pages, and they have been shared as well with all stakeholders. We would encourage communities and members of the public to visit our social media platforms at KZN Cogta, so that they have got the list of all the disaster centers. Here I'm talking about the disaster center in eThekwini, Gundlovu, across all districts. Basically, we've got centers that are active and who are going to be on standby to deal with any eventuality.
Yeah. Senzo, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Senzo Mzila is the spokesperson for the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in KwaZulu-Natal.